What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 459th episode of the Pokemon Podcast. It's super effective. I'm your host, SBJ. With me is Will.
What was I gonna say? I never found that piece of equipment that I was looking for, so I'm lost. Go on without me.
You never found your Ethernet dongle?
Correct.
What do you even need it for?
Ethernet.
To improve the did you not know that if you get your internet like with the wire touching, it goes better? You get more internet than if you do it wireless.
You get the more internet goes through wire than goes through not wire.
Yes, that is how the
That makes
internet
sense.
works.
This is why my desktop that I record on is a wire and not through the non-wire.
Look, update from last week. Still haven't screwed my desk together. It's been a week. I know where the screwdriver is.
I mean, how are you using it? Is it just leaning on itself and you hope it doesn't fall over?
I mean, it's it's very barely holding itself together.
Greg is here.
I am here. I am wearing my D20 socks and I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, we have to get going because we got a possibly long. If I say it's long, that means maybe it's short.
How is it going to be long?
Because sometimes
it can't be longer than the really short game you want to talk about.
What are you talking about?
I am just overwhelmed with all this 25th anniversary news.
Yeah, we got so much 25th anniversary news.
Huge.
We might even not have time to talk about Pokemon Snap. I'm just kidding.
Come out.
There's no 25th. Well, there was some news, but well, whatever. We'll save it for later.
What's the some news? Get it out of the way.
There is a Meowth event.
Yeah. Which you were all salty about.
I wasn't salty. No,
you jumped early. I just got in, and next thing I know, you're up playing Snap.
Okay.
And then I go to my first den. You don't even wait. You just like, well, it's done.
I didn't know you were doing the den.
What? I was in your chat. You're like, let's switch over. So I switched over.
When I say let's switch over, it's me saying I'm switching over and understanding that Twitch chat is doing nothing but what they were doing.
Oh, so you're just lumping me in.
When I said let's switch over, I didn't know you were actively switching over.
Yeah, well, I switched over, and now I have 3 shiny gold cats.
Play the news music. We're here.
If people actually knew the name of that file, their minds would be blown because I have it and I know what it's called.
Ooh, send it to make it my ringtone.
Because of Golden Week, Sword and Shield had a shiny Galarian Meowth event this weekend.
And what's Golden Week?
Golden Week is where something happens in Persona 5 and then Monster Hunter comes out and then no one goes to work and then they all celebrate, I believe.
Okay. That was the worst explanation I have ever heard.
Golden Week is the week where if you are a fan of Japanese animation, also known as anime, there will be no episodes that week.
Also true.
Oh, wait, really? That's true as well?
100%. I was shocked that there was a new episode of My Hero this week because it's Golden Week.
They got that. They have that in the hopper. They just have to press the button, go.
I was told you never travel to Japan during the Golden Week because you'll never get anything. You won't be able to see much.
Well, all the hotels will be
down.
booked up because all the Japanese folks are traveling.
They're all crowded. So, can you actually give an actual definition of what Golden Week is?
No, you
even know.
I just gave it.
No, you didn't. You said it's golden and people don't do things.
Yeah.
Golden
Everyone
Week is a
shuts
collection.
down. They take a week off.
Fill in the blank. Golden Week is a collection of
Pokemon.
No. Will.
I have no idea. I didn't claim any
national holidays within 7 days.
Ooh.
4. In combination with well-placed weekends, the Golden Week becomes one of Japan's 3 busiest holiday seasons besides New Year's and the Oban Week.
Ooh, I don't know what Oban is, but that sounds cool.
Yeah, it does.
To be fair, the Pokemon Company doesn't get to pick when Golden Week is. So to be like shiny Meowths to celebrate Golden Week.
To be fair, they knew when this was years in advance.
True.
It's like saying, oh, I didn't know that the 25th of December was Christmas. Who knew? Is it on the 25th every year?
So they decided to do shiny Galarian Meowth and then Gigantamax Meowth and then regular Meowth and then Alolan Meowth for Golden Week in Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is the problem we keep having time and time and time again, where they like to have a million events and also release a brand new game. At least with Pokemon Go, they were like, shiny Smeargle, you get 15 pictures a day. It's not that time consuming. You can't keep like there's a threshold. Once you get to 15, you're kind of done. You can't with Sword and Shield, you could just keep playing until you get it. And sometimes that could be several hours.
I mean, and the Pokemon Go one was tied to Pokemon Snap. I mean, the reason that we're having the Pokemon Go event is to celebrate the release of Pokemon, the new Pokemon Snap.
I think, again, the problem here is like they always do Thursday to Friday, Sunday, but they could have pushed it up a little earlier. I don't get why they just didn't like, hey, start it on Tuesday. Give us like a little head start. Because with Pokemon Snap, with Pokemon Go, I knew Pokemon Snap was coming out. And I normally, when a new Pokemon game comes out, I do long hours on Twitch, which is me being like, I need to hit a Pokestop and I need to catch a Pokemon and I need to do my dailies before I sit down to stream because I'm going till midnight. But the little quest line they did came out on Thursday. Right? Yeah, Thursday. The like take a snapshot of a ground Pokemon, use 7 berries. Like I did that on Thursday when I was running my errands and also sick. And then when Friday came, the quest line was done.
No, you finished the quest line.
Yeah.
Those of us who have not even started it, it was not done.
It's not done and it won't get done.
Is it find a wild Dodrio to take a picture of?
Is it the first tab or is that the
today tab?
It's the today tab. I think it ends tonight. Let's talk about Pokemon Snap.
What? There's no other news? There's got to be something.
Buddy.
Look, it is the 25th anniversary.
I mean, there's like one thing to cover for Masters and there's one thing to cover for Go. We're going to just jump into the main event. Do you not know how to tease people?
Yeah.
Make them listen?
Sometimes I make them listen. I don't know if they've made it this far into the episode. They're still listening. They added Raihan to Pokemon Snap.
They did.
And by Pokemon Snap, I mean Pokemon Masters.
Pokemon Masters. I mean, he made Photobomb in Go. You don't know. Or Snap.
Maybe. There was a Japanese survey that went out that like ranked all the Pokemon Masters sought after characters. But I really do want to talk about that because even if you don't like Pokemon Masters, it's a very interesting like you won't believe who came in third place kind of thing.
Number 5 is.
But we'll save that for next week. Because because we got Pokemon Snap and I don't want to do that a disservice because I think that survey was really interesting and fun.
Well, you're gonna have to send it to me again because I'll close that tab and not look at it.
Spoiler: Milo didn't make top 15. That's why
don't even. So mad.
So the actual shocking news of the 25th anniversary is that Greg bought Pokemon Snap.
I did buy Pokemon Snap.
That is the shocking
for
news
one reason and one reason only.
Because you had to let a mouse out.
Wait, what?
That's all I saw.
Pikachu?
Nah, I don't think it was an electric mouse. I mean, literally what I saw was, I have to go release a mouse. I'm buying Pokemon Snap.
This is the message I sent, and I will tell you how those two things are related. So I was watching, as I had said, I would watch the stream and see if Pokemon Snap looked fun.
I also watched Steve's stream.
It looked fun enough, but Steve
fun.
bragging about his pictures getting sweet medals.
2 sweets.
Was more than enough to be like
that. What was it? The Meganium? Was it Meganium? Got 65 sweets, not just 2.
Yeah. But him talking about that and being like, I'm going to do this, spurred the competition in me. I'm like, oh, I'm going to show this dude up for sure. But I had no plans to leave the house. But our live mouse trap suddenly had a mouse in it, which meant I had to go take it to its new relocation center somewhere out in the wilderness, which meant I had to leave the home.
Is that because you had your like Pokemon tricks in the basement, and then the mouse figured out the tricks was down there because you were you didn't get the box on Amazon to collect it?
I'm confused by the phrase live mouse trap. What would be the alternative?
A kill mouse trap.
Oh, I prefer that.
Yeah. No, we don't do that. So it came to the point where I was sitting here and I could hear that there was something in the mousetrap. And I'm like, well, I have to leave.
Wait, actual real talk.
Yeah.
Is the live one more expensive than the kill one?
No. I mean, they're more expensive in that you make the purchase of the trap once, but they're reusable. So
is like, the one that snaps not reusable?
No, because it tends to get pretty stinky full of mouse smell, and all the mice are like, oh, that's where mice die. So we're gonna avoid it.
I guess that makes sense.
And some of them break. And plus, look, the mouse didn't know it was breaking into my house per se. Whatever. So
you saved a mouse though. You're a hero.
I saved a mouse, and I had to go release it into the wild, which is really basically saying I killed a mouse through natural means because a bird's gonna eat it. But I had to leave the house.
We didn't take it to the mouse sanctuary.
There's no mouse sanctuary, but I did have to drive.
I have just visualized Greg, the great. I want to say humanitarian, but that doesn't apply to mice. So Mouseketeer. Greg, the great Mouseketeer, is like,
Disney's gonna sue us now.
A live mouse trap so that there is no mouse death in my house, and I am going to take you precious life that I have now saved to the local snake pit and dump you in.
I mean, there aren't snakes in the park that I know of. I took it to the park. There are a lot more birds in the park, and we do have a lot of owls. So look, after I'm done at night, mouse, you're on your own. But because I had to get into the car and drive to release said mouse, I was like, well, I might as well go to Target and pick up Snap. So I did. This is how I ended up buying Pokemon Snap, because I caught a mouse.
I now understand your
mouse,
reasoning is similar to what I would use.
If the mouse had not been caught, I would not have bought the game.
This is a really weird. Okay, hold on. Gosh, there's so much. So for the sake of this Pokemon Snap conversation, there is a story to Pokemon Snap.
There is.
We won't be talking about the story. 1, because I didn't finish the story. 2, because I'm sure some of you guys didn't finish the story. 3, because there might be debate whether you would even classify it as a story. And I feel like for the sake of the conversation, I have not unlocked all 200 some Pokemon. We do know there's 200 some Pokemon because that's what they said in an interview.
Yep.
But I feel like all Pokemon are fair game, except maybe we won't spoil the bosses. Besides Meganium, everyone knows Meganium is the first boss.
It's okay. So you're calling that the boss. Sure. Yeah.
How are there bosses in a take pictures game?
Well, I couldn't. I guess you haven't gotten to the Meganium boss, right?
I've literally played 1 minute's worth
Okay.
of Pokemon Snap.
So
I
far you
showed up
got
at the front door.
Hey,
And then we'll ignore legendaries because I know there are legendaries in the game, so we'll ignore those. But if it's a basic Pokemon Dex filler,
if you can put it from your hand out on the bench without evolving it, it's fair game. Did I do
so
that
with
right?
that being
Did
said, for those that didn't know, Pokemon Snap was made by Bandai Namco Bandai, whichever order you want to pick.
Mm-hmm.
They were the people who made Pokken
Isn't there an
Tournament.
official order?
Yeah, I think it's Namco Bandai.
I think it is Namco Bandai. Yes.
They were the people who made Pokken Tournament and Pokken Tournament DX. They also worked with creatures to make Shadow Mewtwo. Shadow Mewtwo is
According to their website, it's Bandai Namco.
Well,
.co.jp.
So they made this, came out for weeks on this show. Myself and I would probably say Greg were like, I don't think this is going to be a $60 game.
And I still think that.
Really?
No, you don't think it should be a we have
We
proof
know it
is
is.
a $60 game.
We know it's a $60 game.
So I'm about 20 hours into Pokemon Snap right now. And prior to this conversation, I thought that I would be coming into this week's podcast being like, well, 6 hours later, I beat Pokemon Snap, but I'm 20 hours in. I'm about halfway through the Pokedex. I have 1 million photo score. I feel
What's
like
your max photo score you can get?
No, 1 million is like all your photos combined into the overall score. Because then there's the leaderboard of like, it's kind of how you can tell how far somebody is. You'd be like, oh, that person has 500,000. So they're probably like right before the volcano level, or this person has like 2 million. So they're like probably close to everything unlocked and ready to go. So I'm 20 hours in. I have a 1 million photo score. And I'm very glad that earlier this week, I played through the original Pokemon Snap, which, to be fair, I played a lot as a kid. So I'm pretty familiar with where the Pokemon were. There's 63 Pokemon in that game. There were supposed to be 64 Pokemon in the game. Ekans didn't work. They had to cut him last minute. So 63. And I was able to play through all of the first Pokemon Snap and pretty much 100% the game, get all 63 Pokemon in about 4 hours. And I suppose maybe if you've never played the original Pokemon Snap, maybe it would take like 7 or 8 hours. There's maybe 5. I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like if you get stumped somewhere, you look up a guide. As a kid, I didn't have internet and my parents wouldn't buy me a guidebook. So it was a lot of like figuring out where that last Pokemon was. But there's a pretty stark difference between the games. I'm curious, though, at what point Greg decided that it was worth buying, because I think you were in stream for maybe like 3 or 4 hours. But was there like a certain point where you were like,
I told you when you posted your picture, we're getting sweet medals.
Oh, the competitive thing.
The competitive aspect. I was like, I'm gonna shove this into this dude's face.
Yeah,
talking so big.
I would say I am very similarly. Happy birthday, Tangrowth.
Yep.
I was
right there. I was like,
that was it. The bow tie and the confetti. And I was like, I gotta get this game.
Actually, the fact that it was not just like take the pictures out and post them on Twitter and whatever, but there was like an internal see how your friends are doing, see how your friends' shots are. That tipped me into okay, I'm more interested in this game. And then the mouse tipped me over into finally buying it. But it was the fact that there was a built-in internal, I can see how my friends are progressing. Also that they did something very clever with how they post pictures. Like there was a lot of thought put into the online component, which is a rarity for a Nintendo game. And that pushed me into, okay, there's enough here that I could find enjoyment. I still have a number of complaints about the game, but overall, that was sort of like, okay, it looks pretty, which is always a big thing.
Yeah, the graphics are real nice.
And there's an online component, so I can see how my friends are doing, and I can see the shots that they're taking. And there are enough Pokemon that I like that I've seen so far that I would like to take pictures of them. There is some ones that I have not found, and I don't think I will find, and I'm mad about it.
I mean, you'll find them eventually. You just keep trying.
Yeah.
I'm still trying.
Will, how was your first level experience?
No,
Wait.
I have not gotten a first level. I've played 1 minute's worth. I am at the front door. I found out that I am in the Lentil region. There's a person named Rita there who I didn't see in your stream at all. So Rita must go someplace else at some point.
He pops in and out. They introduce more characters, which I don't know if that benefits the game, but they exist.
So I customized did my character customization.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. And I was like, in the trailers, they were like, here's your standard white boy, here's your white girl. And I know that's important to people of color to have not white. And they never showed that in any of the trailers. But I was like, well, they did Pokemon Tournament. You could be black in Pokemon Tournament, or you can, have a little color to your skin. But there are so many like little things that I saw right away from playing Pokemon Tournament that they just
brought over,
copy and pasted over, which is like a good copy paste.
Am I getting hats and scarves? Is this what you're telling me?
No, that would have been really great. Yeah, there's no like fully like you pick what your character looks like, and that's kind of it. No hats or scarves, although that would have been cool.
Yeah, so I know we're in the Lentil region, and the island we're on where Professor Mirror, big disappointment.
Secretly Mirror B.
Big disappointment on my that they chose that, but whatever. The island
cameras have mirrors.
Yes, but hi, FYI, in the original Pokemon Snap, the professor was Professor Oak.
Yeah, and that dude doesn't know how to grade a photo to save his life.
It doesn't matter.
We can argue that the current dude doesn't know how to grade a photo either.
Could we not have had the current Pokemon professor? Why did we have to create a new Pokemon professor and then do historic revision of nobody's ever done this kind of a thing before? Well, I'm sorry. 21 years ago, Professor Oak was out on this mission, and this 100-year-old explorer in this book.
I think Captain Vince. I think he's talking about.
I played this game for 1 minute, and it's already got me aggravated.
I think he's talking about not the. I think he's saying no one's ever taken photos before of Pokemon. I think he's saying no one has ever figured out what is causing the Illuminati to happen.
No. There was no mention. They literally were just like, nobody has done this kind of exploration before, period.
Yeah, so within an hour of the game, Todd shows up from the first one. And so this is why Rita doesn't come. Rita is less used because Todd, who is all grown up, they aged him I don't know how old he was supposed to be in the first one. But he's clearly an adult, and he comes. And then he is like, wow, you're a great photographer. Professor Mir's doing a great job. So I'm almost positive they're referring to the Illuminati thing because Todd also seems confused about the Illuminati thing. Yeah. But they talk about how Todd did this and he took photos and he has a mentee.
And just for our listeners who actually read and or listen, it's Illumina. It's not Illuminati.
It's not Illuminati. Illuminati, the secret society, do exist.
So that was a pretty big surprise that Todd is there. I don't think they.
How is that a surprise at all?
I don't think that's as big as a surprise as everybody's making it out to be. I never expected the character that appeared in the other version of this game.
Here's a major character back from the first game.
There was one character from the first game that wasn't Professor Oak, who was also in the anime. Who would have guessed Todd
he
would
was
come
in
back?
3 episodes of the anime.
No. But if they had put Tracy in this game,
that would have
been a shocker because I'm like, why are you picture drawer dude in a
Tracy's ancestors
game?
In Pokemon Legends?
There's a phenomenon, right, where people remember movies that don't exist. Isn't there some Shazam phenomenon where people remember that being wrong?
The most famous is the Berenstain Bears.
That's one of them. But no, it's the Mandela effect because the Nelson Mandela one is the most famous one.
I don't know what that is. Nelson Mandela.
Oh,
you don't know what the effect is.
Stop the recording now.
Nelson Mandela is.
You know who Nelson Mandela is.
I do.
Okay.
I don't know. We have to move on.
I'm gonna text Irene right now.
The point is that they're constantly over the weekend, people were confusing. Maybe it's just my Twitch audience. Sorry, Twitch. Tracy Sketchit and Todd Snap. Like there was like a memory blur where people were like, oh yeah, these are actually two different characters. And I had to be like, no, Tracy audience is not a photographer. It's Tracy Sketchit. He draws. And then Todd was in Pokemon Snap, which you all remember, but he was only in like 3 episodes of the anime. But yeah, there was, people were like, oh yeah, they were totally 2 different characters. Although maybe they had like similar energy.
I mean, they did.
They were both artistic.
No, I can explain to you 100% what it is. It's folks who don't use Adobe products, don't understand the difference between Illustrator and Photoshop. And to them, it's like they both make pictures.
That's true.
So
what is the difference between I know the difference between Illustrator and Photoshop.
One does ray tracing and the other does something with the pixels. Point.
Vector. No,
Vector.
Illustrator does vector. Yeah.
There you go. Doesn't matter. They both do pictures. They might as well be the same person.
I think Todd being there is good. I don't have any problems with Professor Mirror. Rita is like a very cute character. She comes and goes, but they do this. This is the worst part of the game. We're just going to get the worst part of the game out of the way. They introduce this Beyblade character named Billy or Johnny or what is his name, Greg? Charles. Phil.
Is it your rival?
Yeah, they introduce a rival and they do it really cleverly. They have the rival come up. He's like, let it rip. And he is very excited to like combat you in photography. And then
I've been
and
through
then
this
Todd, and then he like yells at you. He's like, no, Todd's my mentor. Stop talking to Todd. And then Todd's like, you have to give your photo badge back because you're not a real photographer yet. So like he comes off very strong. He's like, let it rip.
Wait, Phil has to give his photo badge back, or I have to get mine?
No, Phil has to give it back. So that's like the most. That's like the most clever part. Is like Phil's he's like aggressively excited to combat you in photography. Yeah. He doesn't want you talking to Todd because Todd's his mentor, and then he's like a fake photographer because he's just borrowing the photography medal that you get after like taking 3 pictures in the world. And then Mirror's like, here's your photography medal. And then the entire rest of the game, this dude is so obnoxiously annoying and useless that you're just like, why are you here?
Do you know why he's obnoxious and useless to you?
He like Lysander Ycoms you mid-mission and he's like, I gotta take a picture of that executor. And you're like, get out of here, man. This is why you don't have the medal. Go out and take some photos, buddy.
Wait. So you mean he phone calls you like Todd in a previous Pokemon game?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just to tell you that his Rattata is in the top percentage of all Rattatas. See, because Todd is his mentor, it's just the wrong Todd.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. There are two Todds.
He got confused because he thought. Yeah. Phone caller Todd was photographer Todd, and that's why he keeps calling you at the most inappropriate moments to tell you about things when you don't want to hear them. But also, he hates you because the minute he ran on screen and I was watching your stream, you said, oh, here's a dude with Beyblade hair. And I don't know what your obsession with Beyblade is that you accuse all these people of having Beyblade hair. I don't even know if you know what that means.
It's because, I'm not sure what Beyblade is at this point, but I remember there was a Beyblade. I remember there was a Beyblade anime.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I feel like the characters in Beyblade had a very distinct hairstyle and art style. And so when Beyblade Phil comes up and he's like, let it rip, like he oozes the Beyblade persona.
Big Beyblade energy.
Big Beyblade. The BBE.
The big Beyblade. BBBE.
We're now canceled. This is.
But also,
he's got
Cameron.
big BBBE.
I remember his name. His name's Cameron. He is the spoiler for Black and White. He is the dude that beats Ash. He has 5 Pokemon in the elite in the Victory Road or whatever, and Ash had 6 because Cameron is running BBE, and he has so much BBE. He's like, I forgot that I'm supposed to bring 6 Pokemon and I only brought 5. And Ash is like, well, sucks to be you. I brought 6. And then Ash still loses to Cameron. But Cameron was let it rip as well. Cameron was very let it rip. Look, there's a couple Beyblade characters that exist in the Pokemon world. It's fine. Phil, though, is the worst part of the game. He's awful. Every time he talks, I want to just like, why are you here?
He's there for like a hot second.
But you know you had the option at the beginning of the game to have the characters not speak.
Yes, or speak in Japanese.
I think the problem I have with Phil is so far, after 20 hours, Phil has done nothing.
Well, that's why he got his thing revoked.
And he just takes away time from Rita, like, she's just excited. She's ready to go. She's like into your photos.
That. No. Conflict is what drives drama. It drives plot.
Like, Phil's conflict is like, I stubbed my toe and you need you to hear about it. It's
that's why you see, this is the old saying, you hate in others what you hate in yourself.
Maybe I am the Phil.
Maybe you are the Beyblade.
I was gonna say, you ever
judging by your Mega Houndoom, you are the Beyblade guy screaming "Let it rip" all the time.
That's part of it, but it's like
I've been the Beyblade.
You've been for the Beyblade all the time.
Do I lose BBE?
Do you know what they say is if you can't find the BBE in the room, you are the BBE in the room.
Yes,
but also,
very true.
Have you never had a friendship where it's like, it's a friend, but
the answer is no. I've never had a friendship.
Whatever. Where you don't really like the person. So your option is to either ignore them, but if you ignore them, then they're not going to think that you're friends, and that's going to cause a whole kind of other issues.
Drama.
So what you do is you constantly call them with like very insignificant, meaningless, boring things. So eventually they don't want to be your friend anymore, and they go away on their own.
You drive them away. Phil drives people away. It is the ultimate goal of Pokemon Snap to bring Phil in, to love your inner Phil.
Yes.
To let your inner Phil rip.
We're going to take a break.
Oh, God.
And when we come back, we'll actually talk about the photography part of Pokemon Snap.
Let it rip!
Ooh.
So we will be right back.
What is a Nidoran supposed to be?
It's a mix of porcupine,
A rabbit?
Dinosaurs,
mouse,
Whales?
jackalope,
probably a horse, and hamster. Porcupine,
a rabbit, dinosaurs, mouse, whales, jackalope,
probably a horse, and hamster.
Yeah, but then what is a Nidoran supposed to be?
Porcupine,
A rabbit?
Dinosaurs,
mouse,
whales, jackalope,
probably a horse, and hamster. Porcupine,
A rabbit?
dinosaurs,
mouse,
whales, jackalope,
probably a horse, and hamster.
We are back from our break. More Pokemon Snap. We have to. This is the question people want to know.
Yeah.
The question people want to know is, should I go out and pay $60 for this video game? And that was probably, I said this earlier in the show, our biggest hesitation going into this, because I still don't think that back in 2000 or 2001, whenever Pokemon Snap came out, as much as I loved that game as a kid, one, I was a dumb kid. I didn't understand money.
Yeah.
But two, as like an adult, you guys were both adults when that game came out.
Yep. And I still bought it back then, and I was still mad about the price.
Like
I only
Pokemon Snap
rented
was
it.
not worth $50.
No.
It was $50 because
Yeah.
Nintendo 64 games were 50, or were they 40?
I think it was 40. I think I got it on sale for $39.99. I think it was like list price was $49.99. I think you could find it
there
for
was
the $10 off, whatever.
yeah, there were some 64 games that were.
Yeah.
I think the $60 games were like Donkey Kong because it came with the expansion
Yeah.
pack.
Yeah.
Or yeah,
The bongos.
but
I still have my bongos.
like Pokemon Snap, and we spent a whole episode about this, was like a perfect go to Blockbuster on
Yeah.
Friday, rent it for $3.99, and then a month later be like, I'm in the mood for Pokemon Snap and do it again. That there's no way that game was worth the $40 it was unless
And
you were.
that is
Right.
basically what I did, except
I mean,
Potomac Video, not Blockbuster.
I will say this: I bought it originally, and then I bought it again on Virtual Console.
But at Virtual Console for what was that on Virtual Console? 10, 15 bucks? That
Yeah, it
feels
was
like
not-
a
Yeah,
better price.
It was a better
Hmm.
price. It was like, fine, I'll buy it again. It's fun enough, and the new Pokemon Snap is fun enough. It pushes me to is this really worth the amount of money that I paid for it limit? Like, I don't regret buying it, and I am having fun with it. I need to put closer on some of these things. But I think that asking price is a real stretch. I think you are, unless you get really into the gameplay and really like
Oh, I'm in.
the grinding of it, because there is a lot of grinding to be done. Then you'll never you'll never think twice about the price. So I'm going to say this, like, your experience is very different than my experience, because I am going to say you have a bunch of people watching and interacting with you, and that helps distract from the grind quality of it. So Saturday morning, as I'm grinding through the same levels over and over and over again to try to get this one research picture or this one thing that I need to get,
That perfect ducklet.
that began to really wear on my enjoyment of the game. Without sort of having, like, I'm not going to have a new picture to post online, or I'm not going to get something that I want to put up for people to interact with. Having to redo the levels, even though they change enough every time that it feels a little bit different, I began to really feel the grind Saturday morning. And to be honest, I haven't gone back and played yet.
I can definitely see where you're coming from, because day 2, I felt like I played for 5 hours and I didn't make progress.
Yeah.
Like I made progress in, like, okay, that picture is slightly better. That picture is like slightly better, but you hit it's like, gosh, what kind of game is it where, like, it's really good. It's almost like completing a Pokédex.
Yeah.
When you first start the game, you're like, this is new, this is new, this is new, this is new. And then you get to like 200 of 300 and you're just like, oh, okay, well, I gotta like it feels like it took me 5 hours to get these 200, and now it's gonna take me 20 hours to get these last 100, because that's where the grind actually is, like the 1% Pokemon and stuff. So I definitely see where you're coming from. I think though, like, I am so glad I was wrong leading up to this point, because I just didn't think that this game was going to be like, I'm already arguing in my head whether this is one of the best Pokemon spinoff games ever. Because
Conquest, though.
Conquest is good.
Ranger,
you originally thought it was going to be like a 4-hour game, and you have now played this game for like 20 hours.
Yeah, and I'm like, not even. I don't even think I'm halfway through, and I don't think I play games
for dollar
slow.
there. You are now up to the point where you are paying $3 per hour, which is not a bad price for a game.
I will say, like, I'm at the point where I'm beginning to struggle with wanting to continue with the game. It's good that new areas are opening up and I can do new things, and that helps that helps reset the grind when a new area opens up and you get that first initial flush of seeing all sorts of new great things, and you can kind of get excited about it again. But I do agree with some of the reviews that the game is fun, but then the grind sets in, and you either will find the grind enjoyable or it will just be, the pelipper around your neck.
But that's the fundamental rule of grind.
Yeah.
Right. If it's the game that you love,
Right.
then you love the grind. Right. It's the same with Monster Hunter. Right. If I have to kill the monster that I love 30 times, it doesn't matter. Monster Hunter, I love doing it, and I will do it 40 times. And like, that's just like, if the grind is in the game that you love, then you love it. If not, then it's just grind and it's work, and it's like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
But like, I just am watching Steve stream the game, which is really what pushed me to get it. I was like, I really like these graphics.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of fun how you can interact with the Pokemon with, even though it is limited interaction. And I just, I kind of like just enjoy the concept as a fun. I have paid $60 for games and played them for less amount of time.
Yeah.
Right. So
I think so this is another question I got. Like,
I can give my pros and cons at some point if you want. Like, there's things I love about it and there are things that I currently hate about it.
Yeah. There's only like 2 actual gameplay things I don't love, and I don't like Phil. But otherwise, gosh, I'm so positive on this game. But the thing I will say, like, if you didn't like the first Pokemon Snap, you're
not gonna like this one.
Yeah, I don't think this game is gonna convince you anyway. If you didn't play the first Pokemon Snap, that's like a harder question to answer, because Pokemon Snap is pretty unique in what it does. But I would say it's probably closer to like a shooter, like you point and shoot and you take photos. And even if you would be bad at shooters and you're on rails, so it's like you're not moving. Again, some people have never played it, so maybe they're watching and they're like, are you moving or are you not moving? The game moves for you. That is hard for me to say you should go out and get it unless you're just a huge Pokemon fan. I think if you're a huge Pokemon fan and you're on the fence, I would tell you to pull the trigger, because I think the moments in the game are still super worth it. There's just so many interactions between Pokemon, and maybe the better argument is like, oh, well, what Pokemon do you like? Because they're in the game. Like, I knew Irene loved Scorbunny. So when she sat down and played it, I do have another bad thing. The tutorial in this game is bad. It's bad.
I haven't gotten that far.
It might be worse than Sun and Moon's tutorial, and that's saying a lot.
I don't know. Have you rewatched Diamond and Pearl's tutorial? That's like 4 hours long. It's not super long. It feels so basic that it feels long. Like, they explain things in a start-stop method. Like, did you get that point? And it's like, okay, yeah, I got it.
It doesn't feel, the information they're conveying in the tutorial feels fine, but it just feels so slow.
Yeah, it feels like they go and stop. They go and stop, and they go and stop.
Keep in mind, it's an all ages game, right?
True,
they probably should have at some point given you an option of, do you need a lot of explanation or a little explanation? And then for younger folks that they're going to need a lot of explanation, but
I don't think the game has a good pacing in the fact that, like, when you go out on your first mission, I don't know what they call it, photography mission,
Safari.
you only have your camera.
Yeah.
You drive and then you point and you shoot. And then, like, the second time you go, you get your scanner. And then the third time you go, you get your apples or whatever. Not maybe third, maybe it's
fluff fruit.
Yeah.
When do I get my Illumina orbs?
And so I felt like the tutorial was, you have like a 12-week program, and the tutorial felt like 2 whole lessons of the 12 weeks. And you're like, we could have just done this in like one lesson. Why are we stretching out? Why this is taking so long? Let me just get through it. It's not the end of the world. Obviously,
No.
you go through the tutorial and then you got 19 hours more of gameplay to do. And the tutorial is maybe at most like 5 minutes, 7 minutes or something.
It feels long.
But going back to Irene, I knew, so she liked the first Pokemon Snap. She didn't play. The first time she played it was like 3 years ago. So pretty recently. She thought it was really cute. She was really bad at it because she's bad at pointing and aiming on video games. Like, doesn't have those. She's not, she's not like a Halo pro. Very bad at shooting. But I gave her my game, so no tutorial. I didn't tell her about the apples. I didn't tell her about the scan. I didn't tell her about the Illuminati balls. I was like, here, this is the trigger you pull. This is the A button you press to shoot. It's just like a Apex Legends. Point at something, take a picture. But for me, it was like, I am going to give you the levels of Pokemon you like. So here's the first level with Score Bunny because she loves Score Bunny. And then I was like, here is the level with Marini because she loves Marini. And both of those levels like threw her over the moon. She was just so excited. And it was also really interesting to see her because she always struggles to say like which Pokemon she likes and doesn't like. So it was really cool to like see her reaction of like Pokemon that I feel like she doesn't think about all the time. Like she freaked out when she saw Beware. And I feel like she's never brought up Beware in a conversation before. But that was like really cute to see. So I would say like maybe if you're on the fence, you're a huge Pokemon fan, you didn't play Pokemon Snap, you're on the fence. I would maybe even look at the roster of Pokemon because like seeing your favorite Pokemon doing something like they do things in this game. They just don't stand there like in Sword and Shield. They're just walking around, and that's fine and that's cool. But like their interactions between other Pokemon,
right?
The music, the apples, the scanning thing. It's just so charming.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's one thing I was going to say is if you've ever in your life said, "I wish I could see Pokemon going around in the world."
Yeah,
this is the game for that.
Yeah.
This is the whole the entirety of the game is the Pokemon are in the world.
That's probably my number one positive of the game. The levels look beautiful. The interactions that they have in the game are super fun, super cool. The things that they do and interact, I don't want to say that they're surprising because if you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, that's what that Pokemon is and that's what that Pokemon would do. But I think it's like weirdly affirming because you're seeing things that you'd only necessarily imagined actually happening. And that part of the game is super fun and exciting. And the levels change. So as you do more things and more Pokemon come in or out, or you've altered how things work a little bit, the interactions change. So there is some level of newness every time you go in that diminishes over time. Like this, I would say like the second time when you get to level 2 of a route and there's a whole bunch of changes, it's as exciting as the first time you were in there. But then when you're grinding through level 2 to try to get to level 3 to get the next thing, the game really drags.
Yeah. Again, it felt like when I was unlocking research levels, I was unlocking them after 2 runs. And last night I was like, we did this volcano 4 times in a row. And why did it slow down? Like it almost like it artificially slows down because it knows it knows you're grinding it over and over again. It's very weird.
It's very weird.
It's like I took 70 photos and you're only giving me 8,000 experience, where in like this course I took 70 and you're giving me 50,000. Like why did this suddenly change from today to yesterday? That part seems weird.
So I mean, so the thing that I think is frustrating is you're only getting experience for the ones that you show and if they make a big enough difference. So if you have a worse picture of a Cacnea and it doesn't unlock a research task.
Look, none of my Cacneas are bad pictures.
Yeah, they are. I've saw them. But if you like have a great picture, if like you got lucky and took a perfect picture of Cacnea, you're never going to get better and you're never going to get experience for the subsequent ones after. And that slows down the game because unless you're specifically trying to take a picture of a cacnea to fulfill a research task, and we'll talk about the research tasks, I'm assuming, then it's like, okay, well, I've already got 4 perfect pictures of a cacnea. This section of this path is useless to me, or I'm just going to sit here until I get past it.
So it's not useless. Just sit back and enjoy the view.
I think so. I think I wouldn't say it's useless. I would say that at a certain point, when you're going back through routes, you have to pick and choose.
You do.
So if like where the cacnea is, there's also Heliolisk and I think like Mandibuzz. There's a couple others. So you're pretty much at that point being like I'm to the point in the game where if I'm going through park, I'm like these, like I know that there's these Pokemon at the beginning, these Pokemon in the middle, these Pokemon at the end, and my beginning is going to be focused on Pichu, my middle is going to be focused on Ducklet, and then my end is going to be focused on like Sylveon. And you have to start making those choices because it's not because like you already have the pictures of everything else. You probably do. You probably have the Torterras and the Hoot Hoots and the Swanos. The reason you have to make those choices is because you have to get a better shot. And if you only have moments to get that shot. So you kind of have to ignore everything else. And I don't think that's a bad part of the game. That's something you kind of had to do in the first Pokemon Snap, where like, all right, this run, I'm going to only focus on Sand Slash, or this run, I'm going to get the Magikarp. The Mankey's going to hit the Magikarp. Gyarados is going to come out. I'm only focused on Gyarados. So I don't think that's bad, but your runs start getting very focused, and that's when the grind comes out. Yep. Which is, I mean, you're trying to top high scores. So like, there's no, I mean, if you're playing Mario, you're playing Pac-Man, playing Frogger, you're optimizing the best routes because you want to beat that score. So you do have to, you could play this game, I guess, 2 ways or both ways. You can play the game where you're like, I don't care about getting the highest rankings. I just want 1 photo of every Pokemon. And technically there's 4 photos of every Pokemon, which we haven't talked about. And you could probably get a photo of not even every Pokemon. You don't need every Pokemon to, complete the story and see the credits. And for people that I saw speed run the game within the first weekend, and by speed run, I mean they try to get the credits as fast as possible. Joe from Cerebi said that he got credits for the first time in 12 hours, and he was playing, as fast as possible so he could get stuff on the site. There was a YouTuber that beat the entire game in 8 hours because they just wanted to see how fast they could get credits. A lot of reviewers from whether that's like IGN or comicbook.com or GameSpot, not to be confused with GameStop, they said that most of their credits came at about 20 hours. I'm 20 hours and I haven't seen credits. So if you don't care about the high score,
right,
and somebody says, hey, this, for me personally, if somebody says, hey, for $60 you're getting a 20-hour game, I think that's worth it. I think that is a lot of content. Like I played Uncharted 1, 2, 3. I played The Last of Us. I don't know why I just named a bunch of Naughty Dog games, but all of those games were $60. And all of those games I would say were about 15 hours long. And I 100% thought that like my 15 hours in The Last of Us or my 15 hours in Uncharted 4 was super worth it. But if you want to 100% the game, you do have to accept that you're going to do the levels over and over. And the levels are the loop. I think the loop is good, but your serotonin hit is like way better earlier on versus the end where you're just like, well, I'm going to spend 3 minutes just focusing on Ducklet.
Yeah. I'd go with dopamine over serotonin.
Okay, there you go.
A dopamine hit is better. Yeah, I would agree with that. Your worthwhileness out of time. Like I wouldn't, as an epic RPG player, 15 hours is a short amount of time because I expect long stories from my games. Granted, this is a different game. But like it's a similar style. Like I don't like first person shooters, but I loved BioShock. BioShock was well worth my money because the story was incredible and it was a fairly long game. This sits very much on the fence for me, I would agree with, like, if you're a big fan of Pokemon and you've never played Snap before, or if you're just a big fan of Pokemon, you will find a lot of worth in this game. My complaints are, I do have complaints, but my complaints are relatively few compared to the fun that I've gotten out of the first levels and and that sort of initial rush of all of the routes that I've unlocked so far. That's super fun. I think the online interaction is super fun, being able to post things and see people's stuff. All of those things push me more that I feel like I got my money's worth out of this game. Your mileage may vary. But I think if you're on the fence, but you're leaning yes, or you're on the fence, I would say you will get a solid 20 hours, credits or no, of fun out of this game before you really hit any sort of grindiness or where the grind becomes unbearable.
Yeah, I don't think I got it. I didn't start I guess hardcore repeating levels until about maybe 12 hours in, but I also haven't unlocked everything.
Yeah, I haven't either.
And they do this interesting thing. So in the first Pokemon Snap, you would take a picture of a Vulpix, and then Oak would come up and he would be like, "You are close," or he would be like, "Wonderful."
Wow,
and then that was
wonderful.
it, right? And then he remembered it. And there were 63 Pokemon. And then you had an album where you could hold like 40 photos, and that was it. So you could do 40 favorites no matter what. And then the best ones from Oak. And the best one was always going to be Mew, because Mew was always worth the most points. So once you took a picture of Mew, it would surpass everything else. And then in this game, they do this actually really clever thing. And this was one of the things I was worried about, is like, how do you expand on the first Pokemon Snap? It's a pretty basic game. Mm-hmm. It's like you take the picture, it's good or bad, you move on. If it's good, like at a certain point earlier this week when I played Pokemon Snap, I got the best Dragonite picture. They're like, by best, I mean the best score you could possibly get on Dragonite.
4 stars.
Like, yeah, it was 4,200 points. And I looked it up online because there's fan-made online leaderboards of like, and it's all dominated by incredible Japanese players of like, here's how they, and then it's cool. It's like a fan-made site, but it shows Pokemon Snap, all the high scores. And then some of them have pictures. So you could be like, wow, how did you get your Dratini picture that high? And then you click on it and you see there's 2 Dratini. And you're like, whoa, I didn't even know I could get 2 Dratini in original Pokemon Snap. But then you see where they did it and you're like, oh, I want to reproduce that. So in the old Pokemon Snap, like when I got the best Dragonite picture, I had zero reason to ever focus or look at like I literally couldn't get a better picture of Dragonite that Oak would say. And the entire time they announced this game, I was like, how are they going to expand on that? Because at a certain point, like once you get a picture of Vulpix, what are you going to do? But they do this thing where they have, it's kind of confusing though. And I kind of don't like how they did it, but it's 1, 2, 3, and 4 stars. But the 4-star isn't better than the 1-star.
Oh,
yeah.
They're different poses. And then in the stars, you can get bronze, silver, gold, and then I think the last one's either platinum or diamond.
It's diamond, I believe.
So you have a way to, so every Pokemon you need 4 pictures of. So the star thing's a little confusing because when people are watching, they're like, oh, 4-star must be the best. And it's like, no, it's just a different pose.
It's a different pose.
So that's a little,
yeah.
I don't know how else you like.
Yeah. So there's like 1 star is them just existing, 2 stars them existing plus, 3 stars them existing plus doing like an attack, and 4 star is them doing something out of the ordinary or surprising. And you have to capture one of each. That brings me to one of my complaints is you can only select 1 picture out of the folder. So if you got a 1 star, a 3 star, and a 4 star, you can't pick 1 out of the 1, 1 out of the 3, and 1 out of the 4. You have to just pick 1, which forces you to go back to recapture a picture of a 1 star that you already did. And I find that somewhat frustrating because I'm like, I have 1 for each category of this Pokemon. Just let me select them because they all go into a different spot. Why am I only allowed to pick 1 picture? That is that is when the game showed to me the grind, and that was like my first like, oh come on. I have different categories of this Pokemon.
I didn't consider that, but I can see that as a complaint
and
of like
that is one of my complaints. Is I want to be able to submit multiple photos of a Pokemon that I caught in different poses at the same time instead of having to go back and do that again.
I would say maybe to play devil's advocate, the okay thing that comes from that is like when I went through the reef level, I think it is, where Squirtle and Sharpedo are there. That was like the first time I saw Squirtle, and Sharpedo's actually in quote too many levels. But I took a picture of the Squirtle, and then when I was done, that was my first pictures of Squirtle. It said 1 star, and it was just like Squirtle standing there. And then 3-star was Squirtle like getting eaten by Sharpedo. And my 3-star was really bad. It was awful. But the cool thing was like, I know that's how I get 3-star now. So like that was like the good thing I saw from it.
Pokemon violence.
But that doesn't
there's a lot
stop,
in this game.
But that doesn't stop you from making the choice to go back and take a better 3-star. Like
that's true.
It takes that choice away from you.
I just knew that like this picture is bad and I'm going to do the level anyways, but now I know how to get the 3-star. So that's the positive I saw from it, but I see the point you're making.
So, I mean, I think that's probably my biggest knock against the game is like, you can only look at one picture of one Pokemon from each folder. Like you fly through rating them at the speed of light, thankfully, after you do your anime glasses, evil glasses pose. I do find that to me was like, don't show me the grind. Let me like grade it so that I know that was a good or a bad
but you've been playing
picture.
video games for 50 some years. It's very easy for you to discover where the grind is. And you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm
pretty certain for the first 5 or 6 years, video games did not exist. So
well, they did.
No.
I got Pong in 76? No. Again, there are. Again, I said it's a minor complaint, but it is a point when the game shows its grind. It's a point when you're like, why are you making me choose?
I think the other I like. Gosh, this is not a complaint. It might seem like it though. I have not looked anything up for this game, and thankfully, my Twitch community is very awesome and they're very nice, and they understand that I don't want to be told how to get something done. So I would say this is something we haven't talked about yet. Pokemon Snap is a puzzle game.
Yeah.
And there are things that you have to do to line up. And some of them kind of can be difficult because they don't exactly explain what you need to do in order to get a good picture. Like I have probably taken 500 pictures of Bouffalant because I love Bouffalant. I got a lot of Bouffalant butt pictures. I got the 1-star, the 2-star, and the 3-star, and I have them all in diamond or platinum or whatever, like the best pictures you can get for them. I have not figured out how to get whatever the 4-star they want from Bouffalant. And I'm sure I just could look it up. I'm sure somebody figured it out. I'm sure within the first hour of the game, somebody figured it out. So like the grind for me wasn't necessarily what Greg said. The grind for me was like restarting that Bouffalant level time and time again and like playing the music and throwing the apples and throwing the Illuminati and being like, I don't know what needs to trigger this. I don't know what it is. And I might be in the wrong area. Maybe he only does the 4-star during the day and I'm doing it at night and I'll never get it.
You'll get it. I believe in you.
but I like that puzzle instance, but at a certain point, like the game doesn't give you any feedback of like what you are doing right or wrong.
Right.
And it's just a lot of trial and error. Like when you see a Heracross and you throw an apple and he doesn't do anything, and you're like throwing an Illuminati ball and he doesn't do anything, and you play the music and he does
throw like 30 apples at a poor snoozing purloin.
Yeah,
okay?
Get bonked.
Mean.
Yeah, I bonked the heck out of that purloin. But the thing about that purloin was the same thing. Like I threw a bunch of apples that didn't do anything. I played the music, it didn't wake up. Like I through the Illuminati orb. It just kept sleeping, and that I can see be frustrating. Of like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here, and the game doesn't give you any feedback. Maybe at a certain point, Mir or Rita will step in and they'll suggest something. I haven't really paid attention to that.
I have noticed that some of the potential 4-stars are hinted to in the requests that they make. So there's that list of like, hey, get a picture of this. And some of my 4-stars that I have managed to get were because I was trying to get the picture that they were asking for. So there's a little hint, but not a lot. Because there's a lot of requests up there. That's a secondary complaint that I have.
That request board is like overwhelming sometimes.
The request board is overwhelming. In order to get credit for it, like you can't have just taken the picture. You have to show the picture to the professor sometimes. So you'll get a choice of, do I fulfill the request or do I get the better photo? And I don't even know if I'm fulfilling the request. So there are some things that I like. For as much as the game explains to at the beginning, I kind of wish they explained other things more, because you are sort of in the puzzle dark, wondering, why did I not get research credit for that? I took the picture. Oh, but I didn't show it to the professor, so therefore I don't get credit for it, even though it's in my folders. Why are you not giving it? So in those ways, I'm like, this is a little bit of a frustrating experience because I'm forced to make weird choices for different reasons in the game. And I struggle with that a little bit. I mean, it's good that like the research stuff does give me rewards, and it gives me rewards that I want, which is usually unlocking stickers and things to alter my photos with. So I kind of want to do those things. But I had to also, because I was getting frustrated when I was playing on Saturday, to be like, I just need to get through levels to unlock things. So I see new Pokemon. I got to stop focusing on this because I'm getting frustrated with the lack of guidance. I'm getting frustrated with having to redo levels and not understanding where this event is supposed to happen. So I'm going to move on.
Are these the research tasks that you were talking about before? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they show up. So on like your main screen, you have like 3 buttons on the left, and then you have I think it's the Y button in the upper right, and it will say research tests. And when you first start the game and you like drop that down, there's like 20 of them. It's like, take a picture of a Blossom, take a picture of the Torterra, find a Square Bunny, get different like there's a bunch.
Yeah.
But you don't there's not a huge incentive to do them unless you just like to unlock like badges or like icons. Like they don't really do anything specifically.
They give you more stickers to add to your photos.
They give you like stickers or frames or
which I like
titles.
Because I need my online approval of my Instagram account.
You need your sweet awards. What are they called?
Sweet medals.
2 sweets.
Sweet medal.
But then when you first connect to online, this is the problem I have with it. I don't have a problem with them telling me like, hey, take a picture of modern Vivian. When you connect online, all of a sudden that starts filling up with like online stuff.
Oh, DLC?
No, it's just like,
yeah,
so-and-so snapped a new photo. Check it out. And it's like, no, I don't. Get out of here. I don't want to see that. Like, if I want to check it out, I'll go to the online one. I'll look at it all at the same time. The online though is better than expected.
It is.
It is
what put me over the edge to buy the game.
They have actually, you know what? We'll take a break and then we'll talk about the online stuff. Because I think that if you're slightly competitive or you have friends who are also playing the game, I think that social link makes the game very cool.
Yeah, I agree. Ooh.
And we are back from our break. Before we talk about online stuff, we relaunched the Patreon. It's all did up. So very exciting. We've had the Patreon for almost 6 years, which is mind-blowing to me. And over the 6 years, I've like slightly tweaked and changed the rewards and took away things that worked and added things that I thought would work. But I overhauled all the rewards and acted like we're launching a Patreon for the very first time. And I think the rewards are really great. So it starts at $5, and $5 will get you ad-free version of the podcast. It will get you access to Slack. It will get you 2 bonus podcast episodes a month, which is probably the biggest thing that people want. Usually the complaint is, I wish your shows were longer, or I wish you did more shows. So this is your way of getting more shows. And then right now we're running a special offer. So anyone who signs up for the Patreon at $5 a month will get, Nick is doing, taking 6 of the newer break musics, and he's making a little EP for them that you'll be able to digitally download if you sign up for the Patreon. And that'll be done probably before the end of the month, and then you'll just be able to download it. And if you back the Kickstarter stuff, that's more music you can add to the collection. But I know the break music goes over really well. So we want to do that seasonally. So this will be like the spring. Technically, it's not summer yet. So this will be like the spring season for that. So anyone who signs up at the $5 will get the album. The $10 is really great. So we have a 5, a 10, a 25, a 50, and 100. And that all comes with support and everything. So if you're interested in that, patreon.com/PKMNcast or just ise.cash, that works too. But if you have any questions or you've never signed up for Patreon or you're very curious, feel free to let me know. You can message me on Discord or Twitter or Instagram. I guess you can DM me there if you want to. But yeah,
I get DMs on Instagram all the time.
All the time. Instagram is where it's at.
Yeah, it's a hot happening Instagram.
Even though it's technically just Facebook Messenger. But we'll pretend it's not.
It's not. It's very different.
But I'm super excited that we relaunched it. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Best time to sign up is the beginning of the month because Patreon always charges at the first of the month. So like if you sign up for Patreon on like the 29th, then you'll get charged on the 29th, and then you'll get charged on the 1st. So this is the best time to sign up. And if you don't like it, if you decide that you're not using the premium feed, you don't like the bonus episodes, any of that stuff, you just cancel anytime. It's pretty easy. You could literally even ask for a refund if you gave $5 and you didn't feel like it was worth it. Like you can just get your $5 back. It's totally cool. Also, we're doing a brand new thing. Right now, it's going to be like the $25 tier. Just because we need to limit people, and I don't know how much of a disaster it will be, but we'll be doing like a live group podcast. So the $25 gets you into that because people want to be on the show. And some people want to give input to the show, but without using a microphone. So obviously you'll be able, Discord has like a new soundstage feature. So people, it's almost like Clubhouse or Facebook Rooms, I think that's called. It's like this new type of audio. But if you want to be a part of that, we'll pick a topic every month. It'll be, you come in, you can either opt to raise your hand. It's almost like a call-in show. Opt to raise your hand, and then we answer the call, and then you either ask a question or you give your feedback, and that'll be a cool thing we're trying. So we're trying that this month. That's going to be for the $25 tier. And if it works, we'll keep doing it. If it doesn't work, I will completely scrap that and move on to different content. But I know people want, their voices heard. They want to be part of the show. So that'll be something we're trying this month. I'm really excited to try it out and get to hang out with you guys and talk to you guys because I talk a lot in the show, and I'm sure you guys shake your hand and yell at your car stereo as you drive down the highway about how
what they actually do is they write to me and Greg on Instagram to complain about you.
Yeah, they do. And then we're like, totally. Here's the link to the lawsuit.
Sometimes people write in and they yell at me that you guys are too gay. And I don't know if they think because like I'm going to agree with them.
They have probably emailed you because they approached us first and got an earful. So believe me, we get plenty of those.
I don't even know what that means.
They're the worst emails. And I'm very glad when I tell those people off never to listen to my show again. You can't see it on the audio. In the audio version, Greg almost spit out his water.
I almost spit out all my water. Anyways, Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap
section.
Why
have I
leaderboard
enjoyed the first route? I found the subsequent routes lacking.
The leaderboard stuff is better than I thought it was going to be.
Yes, absolutely.
So
and I'm kicking your butt.
The initial problem I normally have with leaderboards is it's usually easily gamed in some ways, and then the leaderboard is just the same picture, the same whatever a million times, and it is what it is. But they have a cool option where you can just switch to friends. Mm-hmm. So I have 65 friends that bought Pokemon Snap, bunch of suckers. But I can see where they rank, and based off the score we talked about earlier, I can kind of gauge how much they played or how far they are in the game, which now I'm kind of stressed about because I'm not playing today, and I was ranked 15 out of 65 people. And
the day is not over.
No,
the only thing that matters are sweet medals. Ranking is nothing. Sweet medals is the reality.
So if you don't care about the ranking,
if you
don't care about the ranking at all, the game lets you upload 6 photos, and these are photos that you can put stickers on, write a little caption for, and you can upload 6 photos at a time. And once it's uploaded, you can get 2 sweets on your photos. So somebody can look at your photo, and it's just like an Instagram they can hit the little A button to like your photo, and then you get little sweet medals. And if you get enough sweet medals, your photo gets seen by more people, which is a better chance. It's literally Instagram, and you get a better chance of getting more sweet likes. And it's both, it is the good part of Instagram, but also the bad part of Instagram, because you'll put work into a photo and you'll be like, wow, this is really funny. I'm so clever. Ha ha ha. This is going to get 1 million sweets. And then it gets 5 sweets. And you're like, what did I do wrong?
So here's the thing. I don't know what that experience is like, because all of mine are banging gold.
Well, no, Greg, I watched this happen on the stream. Steve is, okay. Do you know that episode of Seinfeld where Costanza's I'm going to do absolutely everything the opposite of I normally do, and then I'll be successful. And it turned out when he did the opposite of everything he normally he was successful. This is you, Steve. Yeah. You literally put up the happy birthday Tangrowth, which was an amazing photo. And you said, this photo's not going to get any likes. This one's dumb. Look at this other Tangrowth. And literally there was another Tangrowth photo that was awful. It was literally terrible. Yeah. And you're like, oh, that one's so much better than mine. And then you put up happy birthday Tangrowth, and it's gets all the sweet likes and the sweet medals and everything.
It was my best photo too,
because that is a great photo. And it's it's
you stand in the way of your own success.
Exactly.
I put up solid gold every time. My Tangrowth, which is popular amongst my peoples, they have reached out to me.
Here comes the email.
They've reached out to me through Instagram and other messages to say how much they've enjoyed it and laughed. I put it up. Didn't worry about it. I knew it was solid gold the minute
this is the problem. Is I'm getting in my own head.
Yeah, that's you problem. I don't complain about the odd stuff. You don't know how to run your own sweetgram.
I don't.
The rest of us are
I'm a social media failure. I
will say, so the good thing that they do with the game, we wanted to point this out, is for whatever reason they figured out online this time, if you haven't gotten to the level that the person posted a picture of, it doesn't appear to you.
It's just good.
And you can click on it and it will say, hey, This is going to show you stuff that you haven't discovered yet. Are you okay with that? And why they got it right in this game.
It's incredible.
It's incredible. It's amazing. I'm like, this is how did you know how did you get it right? You fail at everything else. But this one aspect is so good.
Oh, because Bandai Namco right there.
Yeah.
It's crazy because, like, okay, so for those that don't know what's happening, so there are 200 some Pokemon in the game, and some Pokemon are limited to specific courses, right? Like spoiler, Charizard is in the game. I think that was a given. They definitely showed like Venusaur, and I think they showed Blastoise in like the trailers, but they never showed Charizard. But come on, it's Charizard. But I didn't get Charizard until like 12 hours of playing the game. Like, he's pretty deep into the game, and it's not even the first like 2 times you do the level. It's like the 3rd time he appears, and you're like, "Whoa, Charizard's here!" That's actually it's exciting. I think to me it was like exciting to see Charizard finally. But if somebody went to the volcano level and I'm not there yet. Well, even if I went to the volcano level and I played through it, and they went to the volcano level and they took a picture of Charizard, even though I did the volcano level and even though Charizard is there, but I haven't seen him yet. When I go online and I look at like Greg's photos, it'll have like a big X through it and it'll be grayed out. And I don't know which Pokemon that is. And if I click on it, I can say like, I'm okay with seeing that Pokemon. And it's crazy because it's just a Charizard, right? Like it is not anything that you're like, oh, is it a brand new Pokemon? Is it a legendary? Did they add like a myth? It is just Charizard. I went to my friend, Catherine, and she was like, I really want you to check out this photo. I think you would love it. And I was like, oh, I haven't gotten there yet. I don't know what Pokemon it is. And I was like, you know, like I'm going to do it because I haven't done it yet. I want to see what it is. And I clicked it, and it was Frillish, and it was like 2 Frillish holding like little fins, and it was very cute. And she did like really cute hearts on it and stuff. And it was like, how did you nail this so good? Like, you have made me like, you're not spoiling a Frillish, but also like, it's kind of like Will's complaints about Sword and Shield. Like, when it was like you were kind of scared to do raid battles because you're like, oh, like you're using a Stonejourner, and I didn't know that was a Pokemon yet. And I was kind of confused on like where you were coming from when you were like that, because it's like, well, if you watch the anime, you see Pokemon early. If you play the trading card game, you might see like the game chooses when to show you Pokemon. But with the raid battle stuff, like, oh, they can just bring a Eternatus in, and that might be your first raid battle.
That'd be your first,
but the fact that they like they don't want to show you Pokemon like from earlier in the game is just a super nice feature. And it's like,
and then you can also choose yourself whether you want to spoil it or not.
I think that the fact that they put that in that choice, seeing that section of the game is what prompted me to go release the mouse and go buy the game. Like that part made it like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go buy this game, and I'm going to go do it tonight, because I was going to wait till Saturday when I had to run errands. But I was like, okay, I'm going to go do it tonight, because they did the online stuff so well, and it's so nice to be able to sort by my friends, and I can look at what the pictures they're taking, and I don't have to worry about the general public and their dumb comments or their dumb captions. And I can make things for my friends that my friends will get and find funny, and they can easily find it. It's not hidden. It's not in a morass of a million people. It is, I can sort to my friends and I can find it. And that part is so well done that literally convinced me to buy the game.
Yeah, the online, the only weird part about the online, it's such a minor complaint, is that if you're in the album, you can edit a photo, and then if you go to upload it, it will yell at you that you have too many. So you have to back out, go down to the internet, go into there, then delete it, then go back into album to hit the upload. That's the only complaint. Is like those should be, you're
limited to 6, and if you have them filled up, it's kind of a process.
So you have to like delete before you plan to upload, otherwise it's going to yell at you. But man, like it's it's such another part of the game that you can completely ignore and still
Right.
get your value out of. But it's part of the reason why I haven't unlocked every level yet. I think there's a snow level I haven't unlocked.
I would be surprised if there wasn't.
There's a lot of snow Pokemon.
But yeah, it was like I would take a bunch of pictures and then I would be like, okay, these are going to go to Mir, and he's going to be like, wow, nice shot.
Wow.
And then when I look through, I always want to look through even when I'm done, because I was like, oh, these might make good online things. And then it's like, oh, I think this photo has too sweet potential, but so I'm going to save it and I'm going to come back to it later. And it's so good.
Yeah, it is.
It's
I want to point out another thing because we touched on it a little bit. The judging criteria in this game is way better than the original Snap. The fact
that was a prediction that has been proven false, because Steve was like, "Oh, you're just going to get the Pokemon in the middle of the photo, and he's going to say that's wonderful and move on."
The fact that direction is a category, facing or not facing the camera is its own separate category. So even if you can only see the back of something, you still get a decent. You can still get a decent
good score.
Like that criteria is one of them, but there's a lot of other criteria, and that really made the scoring feel more dynamic to me. Like you're not just saying it's only. I mean, granted, I agree. Professor Mirror isn't interested in your art. Professor Mirror likes only what he likes. Don't get artsy with it. Get artsy for your friends.
Wait. What was the title of that article? It's like Pokemon Snap does not want your avant-garde photography.
I'll find it again because it made me laugh so hard.
So it makes sense in a lore sense. He doesn't care about the rule of thirds. He wants the Pokemon in the center of the picture. He wants the full Pokemon in. He doesn't want a close-up of just its face. He wants the full Pokemon center of the picture because he's using it for research.
All right, here's the title. Here's the article title that made me laugh. New Pokemon Snap doesn't want your avant-garde photography.
So it makes sense.
Yes.
That happens. So they took away some things that Oak used to do, and then they added some new things. So in the original Pokemon Snap, it would be whether there's a special bonus, that would be number one, and that wouldn't always appear. But like Oak will be like, wow, a Pikachu on a stump, that's worth at least 14,000 points. Or he'll be like, whoa, a Pikachu riding an Articuno, that's never before seen, 500 points. There's a special category. And this game doesn't have that at all, which is kind of a bummer. Like there's no like Mir at never point goes like, whoa, a murder of Murkrow. And that feels a little sterile in this game, where he doesn't ever think anything is like more exciting than other things.
He is a man of science.
He is a scientist.
To the facts.
Oak
he
legit
is not
got
an easily
excited
swayed old man
about a Pikachu
scientist.
on a stump. And Mir is like, oh, I just witnessed a Graveler fall to his demise, but like he doesn't care. He's just like, cool, you did it.
The world of nature
so
is cruel.
I said Graveler to his death, and I know it. I didn't mean it. Come back, Graveler.
You have 5 Marini eating a Corsola, and Mir was like, nice shot.
Nice shot.
Moves on.
Hey, that's disturbing, but we're gonna just move past this.
So it is a bit of a bummer that there's none of that small flavor of Mir reacting to things that seem interesting that Oak used to. So they got rid of the special, and then it's Oak did size, and then Oak did position, and then technique. Technique they called it. And then he added on if there were more than the same Pokemon in. So if there was 2 Dratini or 3 Vulpix, he would give you bonus points. And then he would have a ×2 if it was facing you or in the center or whatever. And so they got rid of the ×2. They adjusted it. So instead of the same Pokemon, Mir is just oh, there are other Pokemon here, which is nice. If you took a picture of a Cacnea and there's a Skorupi behind it, he'll be like, oh, cool, we'll see a Skorupi. So it does encourage you to get other Pokemon in the photo. And then he broke down what Greg said, the positioning and then the centering. So positioning it's positioning and it's centering, right?
So it's
direction and position.
It's pose, direction, position. There's 7 categories.
Yeah. Anyways, one is like completely center in the photo, and then the other is like how straight on it's looking at you, which can kind of be confusing because like I got 100 pose with Magikarp being like horizontal, like seeing Magikarp horizontal, like it's not Magikarp straight on, which some Pokemon it is straight on, but with Magikarp it was like completely horizontal, so that can be a little confusing. Like with some Pokemon like Credidly, you're like, where is the front of you? Like
the
you're just like this
part.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's symmetrical at the base. It's just like his head like wobbles around. So you're just like, where's the exact front of you? So that's a little confusing. And then size, this is maybe the most confusing one. Size is the entire Pokemon in the picture. So like it's not how big the Pokemon, well, it is how big the Pokemon is, but like if you're taking a picture of Vivian, he wants to see the entire Vivian.
All the Vivillon in there.
Yeah.
So if Vivian is super close to you and its wings are cut off, that's a smaller size because you're getting less of that Vivian in.
Yeah.
So Alolan Executor is not in this game?
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, I
it
don't
could be
think so.
on the one thing, and I haven't found it yet.
So yeah, that's it. It's the grading is better. There are still points where you're like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Like I get it, but man, this other photo is way better.
Shift your glasses. But again, he doesn't want avant-garde photography. He wants clinical, scientific, by the book photography. None of your fanciness.
And then we could talk about the first like boss battle, which is Meganium.
Yeah.
So when you do the park level, it's like park during the day, then park at night. And then I think they want you to do park during the day one more time. And then because it's different. And then it's called like Illuminati Zone or something.
Illumina Zone.
Yeah. So that opens up. And then that takes you through. It's a shorter level. I would say most levels are like 2 minutes long. And this level is closer to like maybe a minute and a half. And you can replay this level, and this level has like a scoring. Yep. So for example, there's another boss later. And when you're first doing that level, you only see that boss. And then if you upgrade it from level 1 to level 2, you will see Pokemon off to the sides that will spawn
in the first boss level.
Yeah.
So there is a reason to go back to the boss levels.
Yeah, I just don't know what spawns around Meganium because I only did the Meganium one like once.
I do. Because I've done it twice.
What spawns around Meganium?
Eevee comes and plays with Meganium. So Eevee rides Meganium's back and runs around and does a bunch of stuff, and they interact as friends.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy.
But you're just like kind of follow Meganium through the level.
Except this time you follow Meganium and Eevee through the level because Eevee runs around and interacts with you and eats fluff fruit and stuff.
And later bosses, you have to like. So Meganium is really straightforward. You can just keep taking pictures of Meganium, and then Meganium's glowing with the Illuminati. And then if you throw them up Pester Balls, not Pester Balls, they got rid of that. If you throw the Illuminati balls at it, then it will glow even more. Mm-hmm. In later bosses, and I don't want to spoil what they are, like one of them is in the water, and when you have to hit it with an apple, and then it comes out of the water, and then you have to illuminate it itself. It's not like the Meganium's like easy mode.
Yeah.
So like you have to illuminate it to the point where it's like overflowing with Illuminati, because when in the water level, when the Pokemon, I don't want to spoil it, when the Pokemon comes out of the water and I threw the Illuminati ball and then I took a picture because it was glowing. And I was like, okay, we're good. And then I got to the end of the level, and that was like the one time Mirror yells at you. And he's like, you didn't get any photos. And you're like, I took 70. What are you talking about?
I maxed out my memory card.
And then he's like, you didn't take any photos. And they didn't really make it clear, but you have to hit it. At least I had to hit it twice. Because I was like, Apple, you're out of the water. Illuminati ball, you're glowing. Snap, 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 snap. Okay, you went back in the water. and it was glowing, and you could see in the picture it was glowing, but it wasn't. There's like levels of Illuminati. So like after the second ball, he's now like pushing out that energy, and that's the snap he wanted.
So you're saying it's Basculin?
It's the legend. It's crazy how many Basculin there are.
It's the Basculins all the way down.
The game is very good.
Yeah, I mean, so I have more pros than cons. I do have a couple of cons. One is I can't select multiple pictures. My other con is a lot of the times I feel that the controls are sludgy, that they feel unnecessarily slow, and the fact that I can't start or stop my stupid machine, like just let me stop my machine or speed up my machine. Just let me control
there is a speed
the
up
machine.
function near the end.
Yeah,
which was in the first Pokemon Snap.
There's not a stop. I have to like convince a Pokemon to come get hit by my car so it stops, so I can stop for a minute on the thing. But I do find the controls sometimes I feel there are a couple of times where I felt the controls were fighting against me, and I'm like, just let me center and turn around and get everything. And there's not like an easy button or.
I mean, that's the difficulty.
If you want to turn
level.
around real fast, you can actually use the D-pad.
Yeah. You but it just feels unnecessarily sludgy sometimes. And that's
just for listeners. I thought it felt very slow, but just a tip, and Greg knows this, but you can use both sticks. So if you're like looking to the left with the left stick, and then you use the right stick, you can push also to the left, and you can go faster.
Right.
There's like settings that you can go into to like increase the mouse cursor speed.
Yep.
But it doesn't feel like it actually works.
It
like,
doesn't feel like it does anything.
You like
I've
crank
done
it.
that, and I'm like,
you like crank it all the way up, and you're like, this. Like it gives. I think it starts at 3. It's like 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I went to 10 out of 10, and I was like, nothing changed.
Nothing changed. I met 7 out of 10. I'm like, this is exactly the same. The thing is that when you do the double switch, it uncenters things, and you have to try to line them up again. And the controls are sometimes just kludgy that way. The controls feel sometimes kludgy when you're trying to add stickers to photos. Like I feel like there could have been a bit more smoothness in the controls. Again, all my complaints are really minor. I think the levels feel a little grindy. It's not a bad thing if you like it or if you're really just wanting to be in there. I think the controls feel a little kludgy, and I think they over-explained at the beginning and under-explained what they want at later times when you're trying to get
Pokemon problem.
It's like,
yeah,
I'm completely lost. What do you want me to do? I don't understand.
Do they even explain? Like, I guess they kind of do. Like if you like, Professor Mirror kept yelling at me, not yelling at me, but there's like a certain point where he's like, you should do the reef and you should look for a glowing flower.
Right.
But they don't explain. It's such a dumb thing though. Like again, they over explain and then under explain. So I didn't realize I think it was the park level. He was like, look for a glowing flower. And I was like, oh, cool. Found it. And then I found it, but like and then I didn't think of taking a picture of it. And then I went through the level again, and he was like, yeah, you need to find the glowing flower.
You need to find the glowing flower. I've done this. I found it and I took a picture of it because I didn't select the glowing flower to show him.
Yeah, that was the other thing.
He didn't accept it. I'm like, it was in the folders.
So he's like,
right there.
He's like, find a glowing flower, and you're like, you hit it with the and then it's like, I found it, and then he was like, find a glowing flower, and you're like, I don't know what you want to do. So you take a picture of it, and then he was like, oh, cool, and then he was like, find a glowing flower, and you're like, oh, I have to
show you the picture of the flower.
Part of getting your photography badge is understanding the technicalities of being a photographer.
Yeah, they could explain that.
He could literally just say, I need a picture of a glowing flower.
This is literally a game about taking photos for a professor. If all of those pieces don't come together in your brain, it's not the game that's broken.
It is.
The confusing thing is when you look, for those that haven't played it, when you look, when they're like, wow, maybe Greg and Steve are just really dumb, which I'll take
taking
credit.
photos for a professor.
Okay, but here's the thing. So when you find the flower, you have to hit the Y button or the X button, and
The
then
X
it does like
button
a
to
little
scan it.
scan thing, and it scans it, and then you have to hold your cursor over it and then hold the X button, and it fills up a gauge. And when it fills up the gauge, it's like scanned, but that in itself makes it think like, oh, I scanned it, and that data went back to the
and
professor.
certain things that you do scan, they accept. So it like you could scan this, and it's like, oh, cool, you found that, noted. But this is one of those things where it's like, okay, I found it, I scanned it, and I took a picture of it. Why are you still telling me that I have to do it? Oh, you didn't put an exclamation point on that folder to remind me to go into that folder and specifically pick that picture and then have you look at it. Like, there's just little pieces that are left out. And it's, again, minor complaints, but it's like, you spent 4,000 years telling me how to point the camera. You couldn't spend 2 seconds to say, make sure you show me a picture of it. One line of dialogue.
It's very weird.
I think the game looks beautiful. I think all the Pokemon look incredible. I think they move so fluidly and so naturally and so it's just comfortable to watch them. You don't feel stressed watching it. It's a very zen game.
It's like watching Mutual of Omaha.
Yeah. All of those things, I'm like, yeah, this is a good game. I still feel a little on the fence because of the grind about the price point, but again, I don't think the price point is a big enough barrier to not get the game. I think there's enough positives about the game to buy the game. I have minor complaints, but I think the fact that I have minor complaints is a boon to the game. I thought the
negative of the game was going to be it's too short. I thought I was going to come into this podcast this week and be like, Pokemon Snap is incredible. It's super fun. I had a smile on my face the entire time. By the way, it's 5 hours long. That's what I thought I was going to say.
Yeah.
Like, I never, in the lead up to this game, and they showed the same levels, the same Pokemon in all of these trailers. And then they showed that boring corporate 6-minute trailer of like
that trailer so ruined the game.
Yeah, it was awful.
It was awful.
Like that seemed like something that was like internal to like Nintendo staff of like, all right, here's
and somehow ended up on the YouTube channel. Like some intern just hit the button and was like, oh well, it's out.
Like, so hey, we're selling Pokemon Snap in 2 weeks. Here's all the bullet points in a 6-minute trailer. So when people call into my Nintendo support, you can recite like it was such a bad YouTube video. I don't know why they put it out.
Yeah, it was bad.
So like hearing like this game only has 200 Pokemon. If you've already played the first Pokemon Snap, like I thought I was going to say everything. I thought I was going to come into the show and be like, I love this game. I had an amazing time. I don't know if $60 is worth like 5 hours of content. But the fact that I'm 20 hours in, I'm halfway through the Pokedex. I'm so excited to go back. There are levels I need to unlock. I've only done 3 boss fights, and I think there's a couple more. I haven't unlocked levels. I haven't gone back to some levels. I haven't maxed out my research. I want to try to diamond/platinum everything because I think that is fun and I think it is doable. Like once you figure out like.
I will say watching Irene beat your score on some pictures last night was pure joy.
Yeah, and she was like, it was
super
so weird
excited
for her going through like, I'm so bad at this game, and then like being like, oh, I just got 4,500 points on this picture. Like it's there is like you don't have to be good at it. Like the game's scoring is pretty generous in spots.
Yeah,
but it's just like fine tweaking. But like sometimes you just happen to click the shutter at the right time, and you got a good photo, and it's as simple as that. Like just aim at a score bunny and just keep taking photos and one of them will be good. Like it'll be fine. So yeah, it was cool watching her play and just like seeing how much joy she had, even though I didn't tell. I was like, don't worry about this. Don't worry about the Illuminati. Don't worry about the scans. Don't worry about the music. Just go through. And she had a great time.
Yeah.
There are some levels that feel kind of boring compared to others. Like there's an underwater level. And I think the reason the underwater level is kind of like meh is because by the time you get to it, it's like, oh, there's Finneon. Oh, wow. They remembered Finneon was a Pokemon and put it into this game. And then there's like, oh, there's Magikarp. Okay, Magikarp's been on almost every level. Oh, here's Love Disc. Well, I just saw Love Disc the last level. Here's Lumineon. So like that level felt really like, I guess Credidley's new and I guess Clawlitzer's new.
Yeah, it's when a level has repeat ones and you're only seeing a few new things that it feels a little. It feels a little not bad. It just feels the excitement isn't as strong.
Yeah, and then you get to that volcano level for the first time. Oh my gosh, I lost my mind.
Yeah,
that volcano level. Whoever made that volcano level, they're the best level programmer ever.
Yeah,
they picked the like pacing of that is good. It is like all new Pokemon. It is good Pokemon.
The backgrounds are incredible.
Like that volcano level is mind blowing. Like the park, when you first do the park level, you're not really blown away because that's like the one they showed in the trailer. And so you kind of see everything. And then you go through it at night and you're like, okay, that's cool. And then there's like a jungle level and you're like, okay, jungle level's cool. You see the jungle level at night. And then there's like 3 water levels in a row. By the way, it took me like 12 hours to get the volcano level and I'm still having a great time and I'm still good. And I get to the volcano level and I am like, I think I used all 70 photos and I wasn't even halfway through the level. Like I was like,
I had to stop taking pictures towards the end. I'm like, oh, I'm nowhere near the exit and I'm down to 9 pictures. These last 9 pictures have to count.
Like that volcano level.
The volcano level is incredible. I will say this spoiler. I was in the no column because my favorite Pokemon is not in the game. And that had pushed me in the no column because I was not going to buy out of protest. Because how dare you not have my favorite Pokemon in this game?
Yeah, there is. I guess this is our last talking point because we're going on really long. There is such a good variety of Pokemon, and they didn't. I personally don't care about this. I know some people do. There's always going to be those vocal people that are like. It's all Gen 1 pandering. And there is your Charizard, there is your Venusaur, there is your Squirtle, there's your Charmander, there's your Bulbasaur. I don't think there's any middles of those. And I'm 20 hours in. I haven't seen Venusaur yet, but obviously Venusaur was in the trailer. Those Pokemon exist. And there's like a Pidgeot. There's no Pidgey. And there are Gen 1 Pokemon, but man, they picked some cool Pokemon to be in this game. Like Archeops is in this game. Archeops, like the dumb fossil bird that can barely fly, they put in this game, and it does what you think it does. It looks like it's so dumb looking, and it so tries to fly away from another Pokemon, and it panics, and they like do the screeching. It is like perfect, and
it's really good.
He is so cool to see. Like Finneon and Lumineon are in this. Like what Finneon is it? Like normally if it was any other Pokemon game, it would have been Goldeen. It would have been Goldeen and Seeking because for whatever reason, the Pokemon company loves putting Goldeen. They gave Nessa Goldeen for whatever, like a brand new Gen 8 gym leader. Like, let's give her Goldeen. Like why? It's such a boring fish. You have 1,000 water type Pokemon and you're going to just rely on Goldeen for like, it is like, refreshing that there is no Goldeen, but they put Finneon and Lumineon in it's like wild to me that some of the Pokemon they decided to put in this game.
They picked a good mix from all the generations. They did a really good job. Apart from personally insulting me, I have no other complaints
that's
about the
DLC.
Pokemon selection.
That's the DLC.
Well, there are potential DLCs. I could see that happening. I could see them adding to the game if they wanted. I don't. I would like a level just for me.
The one thing I do think is weird though is in the very first level, in the park level, you see a Grookey and a Scorbunny. And the Square Bunny gets a lot of love in this game. He is in like 3 other levels. He's pretty much as if there's no water in the level, he's showing up. And Grookey, not as much. I know Sobble's in the game. It is mind blowing to me that like I haven't triggered Sobble yet, which is weird because he's in the trailer shooting water on a Venusaur. But it's just a little. It just feels a little lopsided that like Square Bunny is like right out the gate, and Grookey is also right out the gate. And they were like, "Yeah, well, Sobble, we'll get to
solve the puzzle.
Solve the puzzle,
Find
Steve.
the
Find
Sobble.
the invisible Sobble." All right, Pokemon of the week. Let's wrap this up.
Is Appleton in the game? Because Appleton's not in your room anymore.
Appleton's not in the room right now. I cannot confirm or deny if Appleton's in the game.
Oh, damn it.
I will say that there are other Gen 8 Pokemon, but you have to. They're near the end of the game.
Interesting.
There's a couple that I've seen, which is, yeah, it is. Yeah, there's some cool. Oh, okay. One last thing. Sorry. This is my complaint. Greg complained. I am not one for storytelling. Either I gravitate to a story in a video game or I don't. And
Right,
you have a very
true.
short
You
window
generally
to capture me.
Yeah.
So like with Destiny, when I first played Destiny, I was like, I loved everything about Destiny. Didn't like the story. At a certain point, the story clicked with me. I went back and I wanted to experience the whole thing. And I don't think anyone is purchasing Pokemon Snap because they wanted a $60 amazing story coming out of it. But in my opinion, they do this thing where they are trying to tell a story about, I remember his name. It's Captain Vince because it's very kind of generic.
Yes.
And they do this thing where they just right off the gate, in my opinion, assume that you care. And they do nothing.
I do.
They do nothing to establish why you should care about Captain Vince.
Because we all grew up on stories of Captain Vince.
Yeah. I mean,
and there's like a certain point, like 15 hours in, where they're like, here's a random picture of Captain Vince. And they show Captain Vince and they show a Pokemon with Captain Vince. And you're like, well, now I guess I kind of care because I know what he looks like. And like, why didn't they just show that picture off the beginning? Like, why?
They did. You just didn't interpret the picture on the cover of the book.
They like kind of throw you into like, we're doing this because Captain Vince found Illuminati and we're trying to finish Captain Vince's thing. And and Rita's like, well, Captain Vince didn't have any pictures. They're all blurry. And he's like, yeah, but Steve cares about Captain Vince. And it was like, bro, I just got here off a train. What? Who is this
train? What train did you take to the islands? Jeez.
It's just,
look, I care about Captain Vince. I've grown up my entire life hearing stories about the great Captain Vince and all of Captain Vince's incredible adventures.
They literally reminded me of that in the first minute of the game.
I realize that this may be a generational thing, and you millennials don't care about Captain Vince anymore. But when we were kids, I mean, I couldn't get enough Captain Vince stories. I'm sad that my parents got rid of my Captain Vince collection when I moved and went to college. I mean, it's heartbreaking, and I have not been able to find those pieces since. I'm even friends with a person named Vince in hopes of getting Captain Vince material.
I thought the hope would be Vince becomes the captain.
No, look,
that's time travel. It's not real.
No, that's not going to happen with that Vince. Vince is not going to become captain. I gave up on that.
Question of the week.
We're not doing question of the week. It's too long.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Pokemon of the week.
All right.
Take that slack. No question for you.
So first off, I have to admit I pulled the trick on everybody. Because obviously the Pokemon of the week last week was really short. So I will read you the actual clue, and then I will remind you of what the trick I pulled was. So I said the clue was there are 4 Pokemon games where you start the game within a moving truck. Which Pokemon is chasing the professor at the beginning of those games? And then the trick was I interrupted myself and said, wait, Greg, were there 5 games where you start within a moving truck? And Greg said yes. But the secret is in one of the 5 games, the professor's being chased by a different Pokemon. And only in 4 of them is the professor being chased by who? Tell me.
It's
Chatot.
Chatot don't chase nobody.
no, it's Zigzagoon.
No. Greg. In the 4,
In the 4, it's Poochyena.
Poochyena.
And in the 1, it's Zigzagoon.
in Emerald, it's Zigzagoon.
Believe me, people
Yes.
have been going like, wait, did he know? One of them's different. And I'm like,
Yes.
yes, it's Poochyena in 4 of them, and Zigzagoon and Emerald, the best game in the entire series.
Possibly, potentially.
No, not potentially. They've never topped it.
Yeah, it's Hoenn. Poochyena is your answer.
Is there good Poochyena
Poochyena.
Trivia? I doubt it.
There's got to be.
I mean, this we all know the shiny is gold, right? It's gold and shiny, and it's a beautiful.
Yeah, the shiny is good.
And the shuffle icon is super cute with its super cute face.
Your trivia would be Poochyena and its evolved form share the same category with Dreadnought. They're all known as the bite Pokemon.
Pure Dark.
Pure Dark.
It's just the bad guy fodder for Gym 3.
Dag, Mightyena looks a lot like Galarian Zigzagoon. Interesting.
What? No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. The stance and the coloring. Yeah.
You're going to tell me alligators look like crocodiles.
Don't be ridiculous.
Captain Vince would not approve of this.
Captain Vince would not approve, and they're also called, the combination is called Crocalgators.
Do you think Captain Vince knows Sir Lawrence III?
Absolutely. Everybody knows Sir Lawrence III. Where do you even get these ideas?
So we got sign off, golden shiny, shuffle icon.
It's fine.
Brilliant. I love it. It's got the little tooth and it's got a cute face, and I want to boop its nose.
All right, and the trivia was non-plus. Okay.
Really?
This week's Pokemon. This
Chatot.
one's and it's definitely not as easy as last week, although potentially either more or fewer tricks involved this week. Out of my 659 Instagram followers, one recently commissioned a digital art piece by Calgarian Corsola of themselves as a Pokemon gym leader in Snowpoint City. Even though the current Snowpoint gym leader is Ice type, the picture depicts my follower as a normal type gym leader. This week's Pokemon is not featured in that drawing. This week's Pokemon is one of the first 3 Pokemon to appear when you begin playing the new Pokémon Snap, and the only one that has not been featured as a starter in any Pokemon game. It is possible that this week's Pokemon was excluded from the new Snowpoint City gym because its evolution is actually weak to Ice-type attacks. Did you even pay attention when you first started playing Pokemon Snap? Look, I tied it in, and I still made it hard.
Gen 4, weak to ice.
Gen
There's only one
4.
answer.
There's no Gen 4 here. No.
Oh, I know. Thank you guys for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed the extra long episode of the show.
I have the code that this code is just for Nick, but the rest of you can use this code if you want at the end of this.
If you want to support, if you want to get bonus podcasts, if you want to join our Slack community, patreon.com/PKMNcast, or you just go to ise.cash, cash like cash money. That's a thing. But I'm loving Pokemon Snap. I'll be streaming Pokemon Snap probably for the rest of the week on Twitch. If you're still on the fence about it, if you have any questions about it, if you want to see some of the gameplay, twitch.tv/PKMNcast. I'll be doing that all week, which I'm very excited for because I'm loving this game a lot. Greg is on Twitter at White Wing. Will is on Twitter at Washing the Sink. I'm at Dragging Lake. Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all PKMNcast. Any discount codes we mentioned, probably also going to be PKMNcast. It's all the same. It's the easiest 8 letters to remember. But thank you so much for listening. We will see you guys next week. This has been another episode of the Pokemon Podcast, and we are
super effective.
Super. I want 10 Ds. I want 10 Ds.